Hello and welcome to an episode and content that I don't really know anything about. If you're here for the trim removal guide, this is not what I normally do, and I will inevitably mislabel and probably not go into as much detail as I should, so just forewarning. If you're here for the regular content, I apologize in advance. This is not what I'm changing the channel to. It's just a matter of this car is in my workspace, and I don't really know what else to do with my time. So to start off, the car is a 2017 Alfa Romeo Giulia Sport, and it's the US DM spec. The information I'm going to walk through in this video should apply to pretty much all the 2017 and up Giulias, not the Quadrifoglio. When I was taking it apart, I had a lot of issues finding information on how to take the car apart. I found some videos, but they were all for the Quadrifoglio, so that information wasn't super helpful. And I have some paper materials like installation guides, but that's also not super helpful. So I figured I would just flounder my way through making a trim removal guide. That way at least someone else can not break stuff like I have. In order to get the front bumper cover off, there are 6 T55s. These guys sit along the front radiator support. They're right in the open. Then on the underside of the bumper, there are about a dozen T30 screws that are scattered all on the lower fascia. And then there's 2 more of these, one on each side, hidden up behind the wheel well cover that attach the fender to the bumper cover. So that one is kind of a pain to get to. Like, you have to remove everything else in order to get enough access. And then lastly, there's about a dozen of these T20 self-tapping screws that are mostly up in the fender wells. And there's a couple on the mud guards, I think, as well. Once all the screws are out, you have the little pressure style clips that the bumper slides into right here and also right here. This one you have to pull upward on, and what I did is I got this one out first, which gave me enough movement to pull this side out, and then there's another strip along the underside of the headlight. It was probably easiest to do the top one first, so lift up on that first, and then you can start working your way around the headlight until you get to this corner, which is where the hidden T30 is. So get that out first before you even start prying on these things, whatever they're called. But yeah, this is where you're going to break stuff, like as far as rip tabs. And then lastly, you have this one connector down here that plugs in for the parking sensors. I assume this would be also used for the fog lights if the car was equipped with it, which this one is not. If it's equipped with fog lights, there also may be a second plug. I'm not totally sure. Just so you know, there is one here and it normally just hangs out. Okay, so I got the front bumper and rear bumper off. I'm just going to show you them real quick. It's easier to show you to you this way than it is on the car. Also, I already taken them off, so I'm not going to put them back on. On the bottom, you have, I think it's 11 of the larger flat-headed screws run mostly in the center, and then you have 2 smaller of the self-tapping screws on the outer perimeter, one on each side. These inner large screws mount to the underbelly tray that like goes underneath the engine. You don't need to take that off to take the bumper cover off. Well, there's a spider. Go away. You're at the point where you're getting the headlight off. It's actually really easy. It's 2 10 mils, a little push pin connector. There is a T55 that would have gone in place as well. So I'm not sure if you can see it right here. There's a 10 mil that goes through this hole right there, just like that. And then right next to it is a little push pin connector. One more quick amendment to the headlight removal. There is an extra 10 mil that I forgot to mention. There are 3 10 mils you'll find once you take the bumper off. One of those is for the headlight. So total, you'll have 3 10 mils, 1 push pin, and 1 T55 that holds the headlight in. This side would have also been held in by one of the T55s that held in the bumper, but that's already gone. And then down below here, I'll show you in a second, there's another 10 mil that holds in the lower half of the headlight. Right here, there's a reverse threaded insert that goes between it and the frame bracket. I assume that's for headlight adjustability, but it's just a 10 mil that goes to this lower bracket right here. And there really isn't anything to break. There's no flared pins like a normal headlight would have. So when it comes to removing this cowl corner, you have one little push pin that pops in right there and then goes into the cowl itself. To operate it, you just need to pry up on the little tab, just like that. And then there's 2 little push pin style clips. To pop it out, you can use one of the especially plastic upholstery forks or some other equivalent soft tool, because they really don't take a lot of pressure to pop out. You might even be able to get it out by hand. I apologize for the lack of adequate light back here. So to get the rear bumper cover off, it's pretty much the same process as the front. There's about a dozen T30s and another dozen or so T20s. They're the same bolts as the front. Other than those bolts holding it in, there's a single strip of what are the pressure style clips that hold it in along each perimeter here. That's really about it, actually. There's not much to it. The tailpipe tips may need to come out. I took them out, but I don't know if it was necessary to take them out. Other than what I already mentioned, there's really nothing else to disconnect from the car except for these 2 plugs. They are for the parking sensors and maybe something else, I don't know. I can't really show this in detail while also getting the whole thing in frame, but you have 12 bolts that hold in the bumper to the underbelly tray in the trunk area. This little bolt here was for the exhaust tip. I don't know if it was necessary to remove it, but I did. This is an amendment to the information I recorded previously. There was a bunch of errors I made and I didn't realize them until I had to put the bumper back on. For the lower portion of the bumper where it attaches to the underbelly tray, you have 10 of these T30 screws just that run the whole perimeter of the bumper. And then you have 8 of these self-tapping T25s, 3 of which go in each wheel well liner, and then 1 goes in the corner where the lower valence and bumper cover meet. There is also a hidden T30 up in each corner of the bumper, like the front are. So right where the bumper meets the quarter panel, like right there-ish. I'll show you in a moment, but there's another one hidden up there. That was a big one that I forgot to mention. The other thing I didn't mention is the exhaust bolt that I said I wasn't sure why I removed it. They do need to be removed. They kind of work like set screws where they thread up through the exhaust tip and then push up against the exhaust pipe and just hold everything together. So those have to be removed as well, or at least loosened, and those are 4mm Allen keys. In order to get the taillight out, it was a little weird. It took me a little while to figure it out. But you have this weird little spring thing that who knows what the name is, but it's literally just threaded into the back of the taillight through the trunk. I'll show you how to get to them in a moment, but once they're out, you just give the taillight a lateral pressure to release the little alignment tab. So there's one on the top of the taillight and one on the side, and those help line it up with the body. So there's not really retaining the taillight. So really the only thing holding it in is this weird spring thing, and you just have one single connector that runs the whole deal. In order to get to the spring that holds the taillights in, for the side that has the battery in it, which in this car is the passenger side, and then when you look in here, that hole that has the green paint around it, that's where the spring bolt was initially. So you should be able to just remove it by hand, but if not, there is a, looks like a 10mm bolt head on the top of it that you can use a ratchet to remove it. To remove the same spring bolt thing from the opposite side of the car, there's only 3 little Christmas tree push pins that need to be removed. First one is right there. There's another one right up top. It's completely vertical up into the trunk deck. And then the third one is that little rope there that I don't really know what that does. Having those 3 out and having the weather stripping peeled up is all it takes to peel the trunk liner away to get your hand in there to loosen it by hand. There's not enough space to get the camera in there to show you. To remove these center portions of the taillights, meaning the portions on the tailgate themselves, there's just 2 single 8mm that poke through here, and just take them out. And there's 1 flared pin right about there. So just take the 2 8mm out, unplug your 1 single electrical connector, and then just give it a little wiggle and it'll pop free. I've accidentally reseated it just for demonstration purposes, but yeah, that's it. Just pops right out. And there's none of that butylene glue or whatever it's called that normally holds in taillight housings. It's just literally 2 8mm. In order to get the trunk liner out, there's 8 to 10 little Christmas tree push pins all around it holding it in. The only little surprises were in the little handle pockets. There's a different style push pin which requires you actually to pry the head of it off to release pressure, and then you can pull the whole thing out, versus the rest of them which are just the Christmas tree style, which you just pry out with, you know, one of the little fork upholstery tools. You have this little bracket that holds in the emergency kit, and all you have to do to release that is firstly open it, remove the emergency kit, and then you're not really gonna be able to see it, but there's little ears inside here that are pressed outward into the body. You just use a flathead screwdriver and pry them inwards just gently. And you just have 1 little decorative cover for the trunk latch itself, which needs to be just slipped off there again. It's just held in with little constant pressure, little tabs. Lastly, there is the emergency trunk release, which has this little plug tied to it. And the plug itself is part of the trunk liner, but you can't get the trunk liner out without untying this. When it comes to debadging the car had Giulia here and Q4 on the other side. You just need dental floss or fishing line and just saw your way along behind it, and then use your preferred method to remove the adhesive. For the center badge, it was actually kind of tricky. So you have 2 alignment pins, and then you have a perimeter of double-sided adhesive foam tape. So you can't saw all the way through it with dental floss or fishing line, you kind of have to go around it. So the issue I had was this badge is flush mounted, so there's really no space to get fishing line started underneath it. And I didn't want to pry on the paint, so what I did, since I already had the trunk apart, I pushed up on these pins just to get enough gap to get the fishing line started, and then I was able to work my way around with that. And then just use my preferred method of removal for the adhesive left over from the tape. I've just got it mocked up here for the sake of demonstration, but you have the reverse camera, a little trunk release, and then license plate light on each side. The license plate lights are just held in with a spring, like a retaining spring. So I put a little flathead in this little notch here to give it a little leverage, but you don't have to. You can actually just use your hand and just push it inward and then pop it out. So really nothing to it at all. On the trunk latch assembly, you have 2 of these Allen keys. I want to say they're 2mm. They might be 2.5mm, but they are absurdly tight. And I had used standard L Allen key tool to remove them, but it required a lot of force, so it wouldn't hurt to have a ratchet or something else with leverage to get them out, and then you just got one per side up here. So that's pretty straightforward, and then there's just a retaining clip that holds it in. So like right now it's only being held in by that retaining clip, so you just give it a little pry and it'll pop right out. And then you have a plug for each respective thing, the latch release itself and the backup camera. Lastly, I don't know if it's worth mentioning, but for the US cars you have little nutserts, one on each side for the license plate mount. To get those out, you just squeeze them on the back. You can use your pliers or just your hand to squeeze them together to pop them out. And then for the US cars, the rest of the holes for the other style license plates are already blocked off. I think these have to be destroyed to get them out. There doesn't seem to be any sort of tab or clip that holds it in. So I'm not going to mess with those. I'm going to go ahead and take off the door trims, window sills, whatever you want to call these. They're just squished over the pinch weld of the door skin to the door frame. Both leading edges, both the front and the rears, are a little bit tighter. So I don't know if there's just more material there or if there's something actually retaining it there. Definitely don't be prying up on it, or at least on the painted areas, because you will scratch it or dent it. Just don't mess with it. You can get them out by opening the door and getting access to it that way. So I'm gonna do the rears first. The front one's a little bit more tricky. In order to get it off, you can get like half it off, but it's underneath the mirror, which you can't see right now. So in order to get it off, you have to take the mirror out. And in order to take the mirror out, you have to take the door panel off. So it's a bit of a domino effect. I have to take those parts off anyway, so it is what it is. And then lastly, the door handles and lock mechanisms can be taken off without taking the door panels off, which is awesome. For my purposes, that's great because I only have to take 2 door panels off versus 4. So I'll show you how to do that as well. But to start off, I'm just gonna remove the rear trim here and then the handles. So just like that, just pop it up and then gently work your way along and it'll pop right out. Nothing to it. It's literally just squished over this pinch weld here. So yeah, now I'll just pull out the door handle. So if you look here, you have a little rubber plug. You just gotta pop that out, which doesn't require any tools. And then if you look in there, it's actually kind of far in there. You'll need an extension for your Torx bit. There's a real tiny little Torx in there. I can't tell what size it is yet. We'll find out in a moment. It doesn't have to come all the way out, but it does need to be loosened in order to take this cap off here. I'm not sure how well you can see it now, but I loosened that little Torx, which it is the T20, and now this is loose, so I should be able to pop this off, and that'll let me take the rest of the handle off. And then it should just come free, nothing to it. Throw that in there. And then from here, you just gotta slide the handle back like ½ an inch, and that should come right out. Up. And then disconnect the courtesy light. Just tuck that back in there. That was probably a mistake. The driver's front and also passenger front uses the same process. There's this little rubber plug that you have to take out. Same thing, there's a T20 in there. Take the rubber plug and throw it somewhere, that way you will lose it. And then loosen the T20. When you're loosening these screws, you're gonna hit a wall at some point. It's just as far as the screw can go, so don't force it. That's all that is required to remove the little cap on the end here. But you're just gonna take this cap off, just wiggle it free. I have a feeling that this one's gonna be a little different than all the others since it has the lock mechanism in it, but we'll find that out in a moment. Okay, easy enough. Put that in the same place as the rubber plug. Take the door panel off next. On the driver's door cards, there are 5 bolts that hold it in. There's 3 hex heads, and I'm pretty sure they're 5mm. They may be 4mm, I'm not totally sure on that. The first Allen key is up under the door handle. It's exposed. You just have to look under there and find that one. There's one behind or rather underneath the switch assembly, and then there's one behind a little decorative cover in the little pocket for the door handle. For the door handle one, it has a little tab on top where you can get a flathead in there. The best way I found to remove that without damaging it is to get a little 90-degree dental pick and get that up underneath and hooked behind it and then just pull it out that way because it's just snapped in there. But you don't want to chew that up because you will see it. The 2 Phillipses are hidden. The first one is behind this little reflector here, which you can just pop out with a flathead or even probably your just fingernail. There's a little cover here that you pop out, and behind that is the Phillips. Both the Phillips heads are just self-tapping screws into like those little nutserts. Yeah, all in all, not too bad. I haven't taken the rear cards off, but it seems that the rears only have the one behind the door handle, and then I assume probably one behind the switch, but it does not have one behind the reflector, and it doesn't seem to have the same sort of little hidden panel up top there. So I think the rear only has 2 holding it in, but I can't verify it since I haven't taken it apart. You can't see it, but there's a little notch in the top of this little decorative panel that's meant to let you access it with a tool. I'm gonna try using an angled dental pick, but you can also use a flatheads, which may work. So I got it behind there, and I'm just gonna see if I can pop it out. There we go. And they were super tight, by the way. If you're gonna try using a little L standard Allen key, good luck. This one's gonna be really hard to film, so I'm just gonna tell you about it. So you have this little hazard reflector on the side of the door here. Mine doesn't have a light in it, maybe some other models do. Behind that is a Phillips head, which you need to remove. Same as I said before, just throw it somewhere, that way you can't find it later. There's a little decorative cover that sits just like that. Pop that out, just like it just did by itself. And there's another Phillips behind it. Take the switch mechanism out. And with this, you have to pry up this side and then pull it forward. There's little ears back here that if you try to pry this side first, you're gonna break them. So lift the front and then pull it forward. Okay. And then pull it forward and disconnect the switches, which there are 2 for this model. See, here's the little ears that I was talking about. This is on this edge. That's why you want to pull it outward versus just lift on it. We have these little metal latches. This one has fallen off while removing it, so I have to go find that and put that back, and then you just have 2 on the other side. The passenger side is the same way, same process. Yeah, don't lose the little metal tabs, which I have. Oh, it's just sitting here actually. Luckily, it's just resting in there, so just pop that back in there, and no problem. And then you have one more 4mm. I'm sure this one's tightened by the hand of God as well. And just drop that. It kind of looks like they use Loctite on these. That or they corroded, I don't know. In order to get the door panel fully off, you have this door perimeter trim thing that needs to come out. It's kind of overlapped with part of the door panel, so you just gotta pry up. The only real trick to it is it has a little lip that is over top of the door seam, I guess. So it's kind of hard. You can't just pull it. You have to like kind of slide it inward to get off of that lip. Just slide it free. Okay, and just set that aside. The style connector that is in here is only one. These 2 were already loose since these went to the window switches, but you have a little release on this. You just slide that out, then you slide the blue bit off and put that over there. This half of the socket is just kind of alligator clipped onto a little piece of plastic, so I'm just gonna wiggle that out just like that. For now, I don't really know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna just rehang the door card so that I can close the door. I will just remove the mirror and the exterior trim, and then we should be good to go. So for the mirror, you just have these 3 T40s that hold it in, and then there's 2 plug connectors that need to be disconnected down here. You can't see it. Once those are disconnected, you carefully feed them through this hole because they can get damaged. Ask me how I know. And yeah, nothing to it. Actually, I'm going to disconnect them now. That way, if the mirror drops, they don't yank on these cords. So yeah, here's the 2 plugs I'm talking about. Just feed them through carefully. So I'm going to support the mirror and take this last screw out. Now I'm just going to remove the last of the door trim. I've come to the conclusion that I can't really get this door handle apart, so we're just going to figure out a way to wrap around it and call it a day. So for the sake of the video, I'm sorry I can't show you how to do this because I can't figure it out. If you can figure it out, good on you. All I have to do now is just remove this trim and it'll be good to go. Same process, just gonna pry up a little bit on this back side here, put a little upwards pressure on it, and that's all it takes. There you go. Okay, just pry it along. It'll get caught up on the insulation. Wiggle it free. Alright, so that's pretty much all I can show you at this point because that's all I have to take apart on this car. So hopefully it was helpful. With all that being said, I appreciate you watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment below. I do read them and I will respond, so if you come across an issue that I may be able to help with, feel free to comment and we can try to work it out together. So yeah, like I said, thanks for watching.